Hey YouTube fam, if you're just tuning in, my name is Crystal Parham. I am an entrepreneur, real estate broker, wife, mother, and I've been in the real estate industry for about 15 years now. I oversee about 60 agents at my firm, and all of these videos are all about understanding what it takes if you want to get into real estate. So let's get into this. Today's video is going to all be about the cost and expenses you can expect to incur when you first decide you're going to be a real estate agent. Now, many people have no idea what is involved when they first sign up to take the class, so we are going to deep dive today into all the costs. So the first thing you're going to decide when you're becoming a real estate agent is you're going to choose a school. That school is going to cost money. And just like any course or college or anything like that, there is cost to it. So you can expect to pay for your schooling between $400 and $500, depending on your state. If you go online or offline, if they make you pay additionally for your books. But you're going to expect to pay about $400 and $500. So we're going to call it $500 for the sake of this video, because just like anything else, everything is always more expensive than you planned. So we're going to put $500 up here. Cha-ching. Next, you've taken your course and you're ready to go. And before you can do that, they're going to tell you you need to get a background check. You're going to think to yourself, why do I need a background check for real estate? But most people don't see us that way, but we do need to be good Samaritans. We need to be honest and ethical. We're dealing with people's major assets. We're in their homes a lot of time when they're not. And the state says we want to make sure you're a good, ethical Samaritan. So you're going to pay for that background check. That background check in the state of New Hampshire, I believe, is $25. But it could vary up to $100, so you want to be aware of that. So I'm going to just, for the sake of this video, round it to 100, because again, everything is more expensive than we typically plan, and we're going to add that $100 up there. Next, once you got your background check, you're ready to take your test, and of course, there is a fee for that test. You're going to add approximately $100 for your state exam. So let's add $100 up there. Now, let's say you don't pass the exam the first time and you want to go back a second time to take your exam. We're adding another $100. But for the sake of this video, we're going to take that $100 away, and we're going to just say you pass on your first time. I'm going to pause right there and give you a round of applause. Our testing exam here, where I am in New England, it is not easy, and many people have to take it a second time. Don't be embarrassed if you do decide to go down the real estate career path and you have to go a second time. It is not uncommon. I have heard some people taking it 3, 4, 5, even more. So just know that if you're going to invest into this business, you do have to pass that exam. It can be difficult, and you will have to pay each time you take the exam. So prepare for that cost just in case, but I know you can do it. I know you're smart enough and you'll get it on the first try. So we're going to call it $100. Next, you pass your exam, you're ready to go, and before you do anything else, you got to get a license. But before you can put that packet of paperwork together and send that off to the real estate commission, you got to decide on a broker. So most salespeople, when they're coming out of school, they have to join a brokerage. You have to be watched under a broker. Not watched, that's probably not a good word, but you do need to hang your license under a broker for your first several years. And then you can choose to become a broker and so on and go out on your own. But in the beginning, you're going to hang it with the brokerage, and you have to pick your brokerage. Now, your brokerage may come with their own set of fees. So you see where this is going, right? It's kind of a fee, and you're going to be writing a lot of checks. But so the next thing is you're going to choose a broker. He may have a monthly tech fee or she, I should say, it's not always a he, but your broker, your brokerage may have fees for the tools that they provide. Many agencies will provide you a website, management software that you're going to need for your contracts and things, etc. So that fee could be $75, it could be $100 a month. Sometimes there's a startup fee that they charge you just to onboard you and flip those tools on. That could be $150. It could be $200. Everybody's got their own structure. You may have no fees with the brokerage, and that broker may charge a higher split, but include all of those things for you. For the sake of this video, we're going to say that you have a $150 fee to get onboarded. We're going to add that $150, and we're going to say that your company you choose has a $100 a month technology fee. We're going to add another $100. But most brokerages are not going to charge you that until your license has come in from the state. So you're going to go back once you've chose your broker, you've negotiated your contract, you're going to put that packet together, and what do you think you're going to do when you send that off to the real estate commission? You're going to put another check inside, and that check is going to be for about $100 roughly. I've seen 80 for a salesperson. I've seen 90 for a salesperson. I've even seen 110 in some states. You know about me. I belong to 4 different states. I'm brokered and licensed for New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine, and Vermont. They're all slightly different. All the costs are different, so I'm not quoting all of these costs. You want to look into it for your state. But just to get a ballpark, you want to have a clear understanding about where all those dollars are going to be spent. So for the sake of this video, we are going to add $100 for your license, and we're going to put it up there. Next, you think you're done. You have your license. So let's talk about this. We've gotten to school. We've passed our exam. We've gotten our background check. We've paid for our license. We've paid to start with our broker. It doesn't stop there. No, the next thing, and the big thing that no one tells you when you get into this business, I know I was sticker shocked when I first became a real estate agent in 2008. You're going to pay for the Realtor's board. Yes, most real estate brokerages and firms belong to a Realtor's board. They belong to the National Association of Realtors. And why that is important to know is that Real Estate Association oversees most of our tools. So they kind of have a little bit of a lock on the market because you have to join them to get discounted pricing on things like the MLS and SuperKey, and we're going to get into those things in a minute. But just join the Realtors board. I know here in the state of New Hampshire, every state varies a little bit, but this year our state and our national local dues were $630 for the year. Yes, you're going to get hit up for another $600 to $700, and your state might even be $800 or $900 depending. So with that said, you want to anticipate that cost, right? So that was the one thing no one ever told me about when I joined, and I remember being pretty desperate times when I decided to take the leap in real estate. But so you're going to pay the Realtors board and the Realtors Association, and you have 30 days to do so. So while you've just gotten out of paying all those fees to become a licensed realtor, you know that you're going to have to pay that within 30 days. That is not where that ends. I know our real estate board here, when you go to apply for the first time, they're going to hit you an application fee, and that application fee is pretty hefty. I'm not sure what 2023's application fee is for most agents, but I will tell you, I want to say it's around $250. So for the sake of this video, we're going to put up another $250. I know. When you think about all the costs, right? But you take that, you compare it to a normal college or a normal courses at a college, it's really not that bad. But most people don't plan for it, they don't expect it, and so you should know, depending on the time of the year, especially if it's in November or December. You're going to probably have a prorate for the end of the first year. You're going to have to pay all of the next year, and you're going to have to pay that application fee. You could be upwards of $1,000 just in the Realtors Board. So be prepared for that cost. Again, I'm not quoting. You want to check into your state and your local board to see what they're going to charge you. But for the sake of this video, $250 is going to be your application fee on that. Now we're back to trying to get our career off the ground. You're working for that broker. When you start, you're going to need the MLS, and that's right, it comes with another fee. That fee could range anywhere from $75 a quarter to $150 a quarter. And I'm ballparking pretty heavy on that because I'm not sure of every state. Here in our state, in the primary New Hampshire area, we have one MLS. We just got our fees hiked for 2023, and they are $90 a quarter. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to say it's $100 a quarter. We're going to add another $100 to get you your MLS access. That is not where it stops. I know. So the next thing we're going to pay for is SuperKey. And if you don't know what SuperKey is an app on your phone that works the electronic blue lock boxes. If you've ever bought a house, maybe in your state, you were out with your real estate agent and you saw her open these electronic boxes. If your state uses Supra, which many states do, you will need to sign up for Supra, which will give you access to be able to unlock those lock boxes. So that fee is pretty minimal in comparison to the rest. It's about, for New Hampshire, it's about $16 a month, but it's another fee. So add $16 onto that a month. Let's round it to 20 for the sake of this video. Because again, everything always ends up costing more than you anticipate, right? You don't, even if you book an all-inclusive vacation that costs you $4,000, you get there and you're still going to have stuff to pay for, whether it's tipping, excursions, whatever. So you know that the buck doesn't stop there. So for super fee, we're going to add $20 a month. It runs about $180 to $200 a year. I don't know if that changes state to state, but you just want to be aware that it is another fee. Now, we're a real estate agent, right? So let's get to the fun part. You get to order your signs and your business cards, and sometimes your broker will include some of that to start in exchange for building in the costs into your negotiations and your package. But if you work for a company that does not include those, and many don't, you're going to have to pay for signs and business cards. So 3 yard sign panels, or maybe you order 6 and 500 business cards, let's round it to $400. Add it up there. You got $400 now invested into your marketing, but that's not where you're going to end, right? Right? So now you want to notify everybody that you know that you've made a jump into real estate, and there are plenty of free ways to do that, whether it's social media or just picking up the phone in general. The phone is kind of free because we do pay a bill, but it's free for the most part. So you can choose to do that a couple different ways. However, if you wanted to send a nice professional postcard or a mailer or a letter, that costs money. You're going to add that. So now we want to find clients, right? So there's a lot of old school free ways to find clients, working our sphere of influence and things like that. But you're going to need possibly leads, right? Because I think most realtors who can tell you from experience that when you first get into the business, everybody knows a real estate agent, and that includes most of the people you know. So your aunt may be a realtor, your sister's brother might be a realtor, your sister's brother, that makes absolutely no sense, but you get my point. Everybody knows somebody in the business, right? So you may not necessarily get clients from the people you know right away. With that said, you just want to make sure that you're going to have a little nest egg to try to figure out where you want to invest that money, because again, remember, it's a business. But you're going to have to invest some money into how you're going to get clients. Now, people who are coming into the business, they're all about social media, right? And social media is free. But if you are the type of person who's a little older like me, maybe you're not so comfortable in front of the camera, or you're just not that comfortable about sticking your head in that camera and being like, hey, pick me, then you may need to find another alternative of where you're going to find clients. Now, there are all different things that your brokers can offer you. There's plenty of ways out there that you can get leads that are free up front for a referral fee on the back end. They are sometimes the more expensive way to go for leads. Sometimes your broker may offer them for an additional cost that you pay to the office upon closing. So there are ways to get leads. So I don't want you to think you've got to come into the business with all that money, but you should know that the expenses that are involved. So now we have done everything, right? We have gotten our schooling done. We've taken our test. We've gotten our background check. We got our license. We've ordered our signs, our business cards. Maybe you want to add a couple lock boxes, $70 for lock boxes. That's another expense. So now you've done all these things. You've signed up with the Realtors board. You've gotten your MLS. You've gotten your super, and now you're really ready to go. The extra cost doesn't stop there. I know. So now you're gonna find a buyer, and you have to show that buyer houses. If you think, most people don't think about the gas, right? So now you're filling your tank more frequently because you got to drive over to the house, show them houses. Maybe you're doing a whole day of it. You're gonna have that additional cost for just nickel and dime type of stuff. Gas. If you live in certain areas, you're going to get hit with tolls. If you live in an inner city, you may have to pay for parking garages, metered parking, etc. Right? So it's all going to be based around your area, but those are additional expenses that most people don't consider and factor. The next thing that you need to consider is if you get into real estate with no plan, you have no plan, you've made a leap, you're coming out of another career, you just up and quit your job, which I did, but you just decide to jump in both feet wet while you're trying to close your first deal, your second deal, your third deal. It can take a little while, and the bills rack up pretty quickly. So what I would say is this, and most people are not going to do this, right? If they're like myself, if you are like me, you are going to be an impatient person. You're just going to be like, I want to get into it. It's so exciting. It's a new career. It's so rewarding. I can't wait. And you're not going to think about it before you do it. You're just going to jump in both feet ahead and worry about what's in front of you when the time comes. So that's how my real estate career started, and that is why I'm making this video, so that you don't make the same mistake. But I would say a healthy nest egg is 6 months of bills plus your nest egg to get started. Because along this journey, okay, when you get into real estate, everybody is going to call you with the next best, latest, greatest tool, lead generation source, this, that, the other thing that you're going to want to try because you're going to want to do this business and you're going to want to succeed. And the best way to do that is to get leads. I can tell you I've spent thousands of dollars over the course of my career on things that either they weren't a quick enough response, which I will get into in another video, a quick enough response where the cost of that lead generation source was eating up all of my annual budget, and I wasn't getting that in return, and it was a lot of money over time to really invest to get to the point where it started to pay you back. Or you may want to buy stuff, right? Maybe you need a new laptop. Maybe you need a new cell phone. Those are definitely things you have to have in this business that are good, functional, and working. Like, you cannot live without a laptop or a cell phone. Like, those are tools, right? And again, all of these things I'm talking about are write-offs at the end of the year for your career, but you want to know that the first transaction that you're going to close may not always pay you back for all of it either. So that is what you want to keep in mind. Now, I think 6 months is a good nest egg. If you have more saved, awesome. But you also have to be willing to part with that nest egg, because it could truly be 4 to 6 months before you close your first deal. Now, that is not true for everybody. So I'm not trying, this video is not to discourage you to get into the business, but you should come in totally aware of what you're getting into, right? The reality is that even if you got a license tomorrow, you started going out with that buyer, they could be 3 months, 6 months before they get a house and before you close them. And depending on your state and your process, that could be even longer. Most of the states that I work in, 30 days is reasonable to close if everybody can make it happen. Seller can make it happen. Seller's got a place to go. Buyers aren't stuck in a lease. They don't want to extend out the contract, and so on. So you want to plan for 4 to 6 months, right? So I'm going to end this video here. If you are thinking about seriously getting into this business though, and you want to know other tips and tricks like how to choose a real estate broker that you're going to hang your license with, I have linked another video below all about how to determine which brokerage is going to be right for you, what you should know, how to negotiate your contract, and more tips on it. So for now, I will see you on the flip side. If you found this content useful, please subscribe below and check out my next video. Talk to you soon.